Because most people have problem with elimination, that's why they begin to have problem with digestion and absorption. The problem usually starts from improper elimination, or you can call it improper bowel movement. That's why I feel somehow whenever I hear somebody say they can go for 3 days or even 1 week without visiting the toilet and they are comfortable, they are moving about like that, and these people are eating every day, it means that something is not right. You cannot be taking in and not giving out. The moment you stop pushing out what you're taking in, something has gone wrong inside of you. So you should be concerned. Today we're going to be talking about digestive detox. The first thing I need you to understand is that your digestive system is not just a food processing machine. It's a lot more than that. I understand that most people, when you talk about the digestive system, they only think about food entering, digesting. But the digestive system is a lot more than that. It's actually one of the most important parts of your being. And it's also your digestive system that is responsible for keeping you healthy for the long term. Most of the times, what people call diseases happens from an imbalanced digestive system, or we can call it the gut health. That's why the gut health is like a massive industry right now. If you go online, you see a lot of people promoting one thing or the other for fixing the gut health. It's actually a very booming market. Why? Because they've discovered that it's actually very important that as a human being, that you maintain a healthy gut health. People suffer from different diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney disease, liver disease, or even cancer cases. But when you trace it back, you find out that the problem started from what has been happening in their digestive tract. And it could happen like that for years before it begins to manifest itself into a particular disease. That's why this topic is very important. If you can get it right, if you can know how to handle your gut health very well, your digestive tract, trust me, you're not going to be suffering from the diseases that people are suffering from today. The rate of kidney disease is on the high side today. The rate of fatty liver disease is on the high side today. High blood pressure, diabetes, all of those things are happening today because of a lack of what we are talking about today, digestive detox. People do not understand the importance of digestive detox. Once you understand that your digestive system is much more than a food processing machine, you begin to pay more attention to it. In fact, I would say that there are three major activities that your digestive system carry out on a daily basis. The number one is to digest. When food enters your stomach through your mouth, what happens next is that digestion takes place. It begins from your mouth. As it is going, it is breaking down. So a lot of people have problem with the indigestion. There's a lot of people who are struggling with indigestion. They eat and they know that their body is not breaking down what they ate. And because there's a lack of proper digestion, the second activity cannot take place, which is absorption. This is where your body begins to absorb nutrients from the food you just ate. And then the third activity is now elimination. Elimination means that your body will now take those things that the body rejected and push it out so that you can eliminate them out of your body. So these three components or these three key activities must be functioning properly for you to maintain a healthy gut. So you eat, your body digests, but after digestion, your body does not take everything you eat. It actually absorbs only the nutrients. And then the rest of it, it pushes it down to your colon, where it can be converted into feces so you can eliminate them. Now, because most people have problem with elimination, that's why they begin to have problem with digestion and absorption. The problem usually starts from improper elimination, or you can call it improper bowel movement. That's why I feel somehow whenever I hear somebody say they can go for 3 days or even 1 week without visiting the toilet and they are comfortable, they are moving about like that, and these people are eating every day. It means that something is not right. You cannot be taking in and not giving out. The moment you stop pushing out what you're taking in, something has gone wrong inside of you. So you should be concerned. So it's very wrong for you to wake up in the morning. For those of you that eat 3 square meals, you have breakfast, you have lunch, and you have dinner. And out of these things you ate, you did not feel pressed and you did not defecate. So everything is storing right there in your colon. What happens is that your body has actually rejected what it rejected from every single food you ate, and it has pushed it to your colon, and it's storing up there, even if you're not feeling it. Your large intestine, which is also what I'm calling the colon, it's actually very long, so it can afford to store a lot and lots of those feces there without you knowing it. That's why experts in traditional Chinese medicine, they say that a typical adult who has never detoxed before, they have feces from 7 years ago in their colon. They have residue of feces from 7 years ago in their colon. Have you seen where an animal was killed, maybe a chicken? It was opened. You see what they do with the large intestine, right? Those things that is inside the large intestine that they remove, those are feces that are storing up there for long. But that fowl, that when it was alive, it was defecating on a daily basis. If you monitored it, you will see that after every few minutes it will poop. So why does it have those feces stored up in the large intestine like that? That proves that even people that go to the toilet every day, most of them they are not eliminating everything that is stored into the colon. That's why somebody asked, you eat morning, afternoon, and night. That's 3 meals a day. In a week, that's 21 meals. But you pull once a day, and in a week, that's 7. So subtract 7 from 21, and you will get 14 that you did not eliminate. It's stored inside your colon there. That's very, very unhealthy. Something that is not meant to be. Your body has already rejected it. Imagine that you're locked inside this room and somebody poops in this room, and you're forced to be in this room with it for days. Most people will not survive it. But that's exactly the condition you put your organs if you are not eliminating toxins. So those feces, they turn to toxin. That's what we call toxin buildup. They turn to toxins accumulating in your body system. So when you begin to wonder why you're feeling bloated every single time something enters your mouth, it's because there's a lot of toxins in your system, causing an imbalance in your digestive tract. When you're feeling constipated, it's because there's a lot of toxins. And when those toxins are there for too long, what happens is that your body begins to absorb back the water that is from your colon back into yourself. Imagine, think about it. The water that is produced in your colon in order to aid defecation, because you did not pay attention to proper defecation, your body would have absorbed that water back. That's why most people, you begin to see on their skin, you see a lot of dryness, dark spots, pimples everywhere. And a lot of people, when they say this, they pay attention to the skin, they spend money on skincare. Unfortunately, it is not a skincare problem, it's a digestive problem. There are lots of toxins in your colon that needs to leave. Experts say that what you see on the outside is a reflection of the condition of your inside. And then some people also feel frequent diarrhea, running stomach. There are some people that any moment they eat something, the next thing they are pressed, they are having a running stomach. They rush to the toilet. Even that one too is not healthy. It means that there's an imbalance in your system. Because diarrhea is a confirmation that there's a high level of bad bacteria in your gut, on your colon. It is what the bad bacteria causes. So in your gut, there's actually good bacteria, which we call the gut microbiome. And then there are bad bacteria. The good bacteria is what helps with digestion and absorption, and also to fight off some germs that goes in through the food you eat or the water you drink. If not for the good bacteria, most people after eating or drinking certain water, they will collapse and die. Because sometimes you don't know how hygienic what you ate was. But with the help of the good bacteria, you're able to survive and fight those things even without you knowing. But because of toxin buildup, you realize that bad bacteria begins to grow and to suppress the good ones. And a good sign that bad bacteria is growing in your system is can either come as constipation or it can come as diarrhea. And then there's something we call gastroesophageal reflux disease. Short form is GERD. That's people that every now and then they are feeling acid reflux. They are feeling acid reflux. They are always belching. They are always feeling heartburn. Most of the times, it is imbalance in the gut health. It can also be caused by ulcer. Of course, we know that ulcer is also a part of imbalance in the gut health. Excess gas, noisy stomach, flatulence, always polluting the air every now and then. This is a sign that there is toxin building up in your system. But I tell people that anytime you feel like you're gassing often and the smell is toxic, please know that there is toxin building up in your system. You need to detox your system. That's just a simple sign that you need to detox your system. Because that terrible smell you see is not normal. It's coming from, I call it sock away in your stomach. It's coming from stored feces that is inside your stomach, your colon. That's where that terrible smell is coming out when you gas. And then some people are always fatigued. Every time they are feeling weak. You did not do any physical activity, but you're feeling weak. They sleep and wake up in the morning and they are weak. That's also a sign that there is toxin in your system. I've mentioned indigestion before now. So all of these things are things that will show you that there is toxin accumulating in your system. There are more, but these are the major ones that people experience often. So, but what actually causes this toxin to accumulate? Why is it that all of a sudden somebody's digestive system is no longer performing the three key activities, which is to digest, absorb, and eliminate? The first one I will call a culprit is unhealthy diet. Now, a lot of people are victim of this today. And most of the times, I don't blame them. I blame the system because all of a sudden, our entire feeding have been moved from natural foods to processed foods, to sugary foods, to artificial preservatives. So you see somebody having noodles as breakfast, spaghetti as lunch, and in the evening they say, I need something light. They take bread and tea. Your body is going to reject them because they are not healthy diets. Those are unhealthy diets that your body will automatically push away because in the real sense, there is no nutrient for your body to absorb. All of those things you are eating, some people think that eating is just because you're hungry. You just want to eat so that hunger will go. But that's not true. Don't just eat because you're hungry. Eat because you want to feed your body with nutrients that it can actually make use of. That's how to feed your body. So unhealthy diet is one reason why people have this gut imbalance. When I say gut imbalance, I'm simply talking about your body not able to perform these three key components: digestion, absorption, and elimination. The moment your body is not performing one or more of these components, just know that there's an imbalance. So when you eat unhealthy frequently, that's the result of it. Another one is your unhealthy lifestyle: frequent alcohol consumption, smoking, sedentary life. You don't move about, you don't exercise, you're not active. There are people that their life is they wake up in the morning, they drive to the office. They sit in the office, they drive home. They have dinner at home, and the next thing they are watching TV or they are scrolling their phone lying down until they sleep off. And the cycle continues every day. And they wonder why they are adding weight. You need to be active, you need to walk. In fact, I advise people to take a walk every day. at least 10,000 steps a day. And even when you finish eating a meal, please take a walk. Don't lie down. You know that narrative that when we were kids, you finish eating as a child and you want to get up and move out or go play with other kids. They tell you to sit down so that the food can digest. People grew up with that mentality. I too grew up with that mentality. But that is actually not the right way. The best way is after eating a meal, you take a walk so that your body can process what you ate and it can also control the sugar from the food you ate and move it to cells in your muscles. So unhealthy diet and unhealthy lifestyle and inactivities. I've mentioned the lack of exercise. Please, every day try to exercise. Take a walk, a long walk every day. Sometimes I close from the office and I decide to take a walk from here to a very long distance before entering the transportation. Why do I do that? Because I know that I sit for hours in the office working. So sitting for hours in the office, I need to make sure I take a long walk before I get home. Another culprit is irregular bowel movement. I should call this one voluntary irregular bowel movement. There are people that actually has it as a habit. They wake up in the morning, they don't think of going to the toilet. Why? I'm not pressed. I've actually met people like that. They wake up in the morning, they take their bath, and they go out. The next thing they're eating. When you ask them, why didn't you go to the toilet? I wasn't pressed. Should I go and force myself? That's usually the response I get. But I thank God that right from childhood, my own mom taught me to practice it as a habit. Every day you wake up, drink water, preferably warm water, enough, and the next thing, go to the toilet. And when I asked her what happens if I wasn't pressed, she said, go to the toilet. Go there and wait for it. It will eventually come out because as long as you ate the previous day, there are things to push out. So I began to practice it and grew up with that habit. That's why if for any reason I wake up in the morning, I do not drink that water and I do not go to the toilet, I don't feel okay and I can never eat anything. So it's a habit that you need to practice if you want to maintain a healthy gut. So let's talk about the complications that could arise when you do not carry out this activity, especially eliminating toxins. The complication that could arise as a result of toxin buildup in your body system. The first complication, which is the obvious one, is chronic constipation. There are people who have constipation right now as a chronic condition. They are crying about it. They are looking for help. They are going weeks without, they feel pressed. They go to the toilet and spend hours, nothing happens. So they are looking for solution to this. At a point, it begins to manifest even in their breath. So when they talk, there's a bad breath everywhere. And they think the problem is coming from the way they brushed. But they are brushing their teeth very well, their tongue very well. Yet when they speak, there's bad breath. That is coming from chronic constipation. It means their own away is full. So this is the number one complication of toxin buildup, chronic constipation. There are people that at a point it becomes an emergency. They are taken to the hospital and something is connected, or it can be surgically done to remove those feces that are stored up in their colon so they can have a breathing space. It's a terrible condition, but it is preventable if only you do not ignore your gut health. The next complication to talk about is worm accumulation. I believe we know about these parasitic worms that accumulate. I once saw a video of a surgery being done on somebody who just died. They opened up the belly and they were packing out worms from the stomach. The worm was so plenty, they have multiplied inside. And probably that was what killed the man, even though I did not get the details. So people are breeding deadly worms inside them, and it's coming from dirty colon. You know how you store dirt in a dustbin for long, and before you know it, you're seeing those worms and maggots. That's the same thing that happens inside. So you are breeding those things if you're not cleaning up your system. So worm accumulation is another complication. And some people think they are deworming when they take tablets. Well, most times those tablets do not completely deworm you. It doesn't. The best way to deworm yourself is to detox your colon. Let everything be flushed out so you can be free. Personally, I have a story when it comes to this worm. Years back, I used to suffer from worm. In fact, one of the things that never entered my tongue growing up was honey. The reason being that any day, in fact, there were two times I dared it. I took honey. And throughout that day, I was rolling on the floor crying because of the way worm was biting me. I took a lot of worm medications. Nothing was changing. It was a terrible experience. Twice. And that was the day I cancelled honey from my life. Fast forward to a few years later when I learned about digestive detox and I started to detox myself. Today I consume honey comfortably without having any problem. Why? There are no worms left in my system. Those parasitic worms are not there anymore. So worm accumulation can actually happen if you are accumulating toxins in your system. And then there's also an issue of colon cancer. This is the second most deadliest cancer in the world today. When you talk about the cancers that are killing people more in the world, colon cancer comes second. Unfortunately, most times the diagnosis does not even pick it. They probably will tell you you have a cancer, but you don't know the exact kind of cancer that is killing you. Colon cancer is the most popular one, and it comes from stored up toxins in your colon. So you need to prevent it because this one, it can be deadly. And then you have insulin resistance. Some people, you can see their belly will tell you they have insulin resistance because they start developing belly fat. Insulin resistance, that is where high blood pressure starts from. That is where diabetes starts from. That is where most chronic condition begins. Why? Because of the toxins that are accumulated in your system, including fat. Because of that, your body or your cells are no longer accepting insulin or the sugar that the insulin is trying to deposit. They are resisting it. So before you know it, sugar is piling up in your bloodstream. It can lead to diabetes type 2. It can lead to high blood pressure as well. Detox yourself if you don't want this to happen to you. And then we have weak immune system. This is another complication that can come from toxin accumulation. But the truth is that 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So if your gut health is not okay, your immune system is definitely going to be weak. If your immune system is weak, it means you're going to be falling sick every time. That's why you see people treating malaria and typhoid every now and then. The truth is that what you're treating most of the time is typhoid, and it comes from you not detoxing properly. And then you have hormonal imbalances, irregular periods, poor ovulation, low testosterone, all the hormones that are supposed to help you live healthy, they become imbalanced because your gut health is not okay. So what's the solution? The first important solution is your diet and your lifestyle. And then the second one is to get a natural detoxification. So fix your diet and your lifestyle. It's very, very important. Do away with the processed foods. Eat more fiber food, eat more vegetables, eat more proteins. Stay away from food sometimes so that your body can actually have a breathing space to process the ones you ate before and eliminate the ones you don't need. And then get a healthy detoxification. When I talk about healthy detoxification, I'm not talking about synthetic purged medicines. There are drugs that you buy from chemists to purge you. Those things don't detox you. They just give you a running stomach. But detoxing means that it will go and clean up those things that are storing up in your system so you can eliminate them. And the why I said healthy detox is because not everything that promises detox is healthy. Some of them, they will eliminate both the good bacteria and the bad bacteria from your digestive tract, making it easy for bad bacteria to now develop again. So, but the healthy detox will only get rid of the bad bacteria and the toxins while building up your good bacteria in your gut. So that's why a healthy detox is very okay. I recommend our detox packs. We have a detox pack for people who want a simple, natural detox. And we have another detox pack for people who want both detox and to fix every digestive issues like constipation, like ulcer, like other issues about that is plaguing your health, your digestive health. As long as your gut health is concerned, we have detox packs to take care of that. So those detoxes are very well designed to fix your digestive health so that you can actually enjoy this your life. So you can stop taking medications every now and then. Get the detox pack and fix your diet, and you're going to be free from all of these issues. If you enjoyed this video, we post videos like this every other day. So please hit the subscribe button and then turn on the notification bell so that when next we post a video, you will be notified immediately. And you can also give this video a like to help us reach more people. And if you have any question, any contribution, or any suggestion you would love to share with us, feel free to leave it in the comment section and we'll be happy to reach out to you.